Page.
All right, so this is Chris and Justin and the AM AI. And today we're looking at SQL Page, which is an open source, low code web application server to create websites only writing simple database queries. It is actually a database based server. That's good.
Wait, what? That is a weird sentence. Uh,
But look at
transform your SQL queries into stunning websites. Tool allows you to build websites using nothing more than SQL queries, SQL queries. You write simple text files containing SQL queries. SQL Page runs them on your database and renders the results as a website.
so
Okay. Uh, seems like the worst fucking way to build a website. Like, I can't even wrap my head around how you would do this.
watch the 32-second intro.
Okay. Introducing SQL Page. Make this bigger. Okay. SQL Page processes the query. Select list as component. Select name as title. Brief description for pets. And we're going to get a list of pets. The component renders the web page. Renders a widget. Name description. List of pets.
So what they've done is they've added a number of components to SQL directly. So that way you can actually just pull data from the database and push them directly into the components without having to have a layer in between.
I'm so confused about this.
Well, click on chart. Actually, click on map because these
Okay.
doesn't matter really. I know maps are
There's a map with markers on it.
the map component. Okay, and it tells you the parameters, so you can scroll through it. It'll show you what it looks like. And so there's your select. And there's the component.
Oh, select map as component, one as zoom, and then the actual query against the database.
Well, in this case, the map one isn't more database. So you might want to pick a different component, but this renders this component. It's actually kind of,
It's definitely interesting.
the thing is we all store data in databases eventually. And in a lot of cases, we have very, very complex infrastructures towards rendering the data. But lists are a great example, right? Lists are a fantastic example. Um, there are all different examples, and it shows you the list below it.
Huh. Um,
I knew this.
I'm like intellectually interested in this, I guess is the best way for me to say it.
Yeah, so they're forcing the list there, by the way, right? So you're like, oh, well, what's the difference between this and writing Markdown or whatever else? And conceptually, there's not a lot different, except they're pre-built components, and they're part of this core database that you'd probably be using for other things. And so, it's just funny. I can't describe about anything else than right now. It's funny.
It is funny.
But it's actually less code than most frameworks. When you look at the
Well, for sure.
it's way less code. And you look at the text, like the components are clean. The SQL portion's clean.
Yeah, I guess what I'm curious about is like, where is the code getting generated? And then, like, obviously, you can edit that code.
Check that out.
Yeah, here's the full source code for the example. Where's the code? Where's the markup?
I actually do believe there's a Rust server in between. I have to assume there's some sort of a server in between.
So do you not have control over that?
Go
I
to
don't
the
see
beginning of
any.
SQL page. Go to the beginning of the SQL page just click SQL page up there.
This here?
No, the on the root of the
Oh, well, yeah, it's just gonna take us back to the root of the repo, right?
scroll
So,
down. It should tell you, right?
um, it does not. Where is the? Oh, here we go. The take of SQL Page is that you should not spend time designing the border radius on your buttons until you have a working prototype. That is a really interesting, great point, because that is absolutely, I would agree with that sentiment 1,000%. We provide a set of components that look decent out of the box so you can focus on your data model instead. They should have led with this line. This is like burying the lead for sure. However, if you really want to write your own HTML CSS, you can do it by creating a component. Just create handlebars file and then write your own HTML CSS in it. Okay, fine. So you can use handlebar templates, blah, blah. This is what that looks like if anybody's never seen it. Called handlebars because these kind of look like handlebars.
Wow.
Are you
I'm
human?
more
Human beings
impressed
hate
now.
CSS. It's interesting.
So conceptually, by the way, I've worked in a place where we've had a version. So GraphQL and Netflix created a competitor to GraphQL at the same time. Are you familiar with the story of this?
I don't know.
So GraphQL and Netflix essentially created, sorry, not GraphQL. Facebook and Netflix created the same technologies essentially at the same time, which was APIs are causing us issues. Do you know the background about why this was such a problem? I find this fascinating. It was the proliferation of apps. And what happened was every time you had a minor app update, you might have new APIs because that minor update needed something slightly different. And so they had API sprawl that was happening all over the place. And they thought they could get rid of APIs, but it turns out like some percentage of their users always had old version numbers. And so they were supporting thousands of permutations of APIs. And they said, this sucks. We want to fix this. And so the concept of GraphQL was, well, whatever version of the app that they're on will request the data that they want. And so therefore, we don't have to maintain 1,000 APIs anymore. They can just request the data they're on based upon the version that they have.
Interesting.
Well, we essentially created something like that at a company I was working at the same time where we had a SQL Server process where you fed it what you wanted it, and then it, and the parameters that you wanted, and then it got everything and fetched it. So that we had essentially a single API endpoint that for anything in the app. And so our apps requested the data they wanted through that endpoint. It made life stupid easy. Modern development is, as you know, very complex, thousands of moving parts. Everything is really hard. And so we tried to simplify it around the same time that Microsoft and not Microsoft, Netflix and Facebook were dealing with this because we also had thousands of devices out deployed in the field and a royal pain in the ass.
Yep.
So anyway,
Interesting.
This is the idea of not only do you not need an API server, your SQL server is everything.
Right. Right. I definitely think like there is so much information embedded in the database structure that should be harvested and can be harvested. It's really interesting. It's interesting. I have to think more about how to use it, but it is really interesting.
Have a good day.
Good stuff. See you guys.